Well, have I got a story for you today? It involves the CX, it involves the police, it involves a driver potentially crying, allegedly crying, and it involves a fraudulent invoice. Now, if you've watched my last video, Manic Monday or Monday Madness, whatever I called it, then you will know I refer to her as a driver as the Muppet, and things escalated very quickly. So let me tell you the full story. Monday, no, we started on Friday. So Friday, I booked a van on the Courier Exchange. I booked this gentleman to pick up between 9:30 and 11:30. I've got the screen up here so I can get everything correct. And I was at my customers, and at 1:30, there'd been nothing on the booking apart from it had been accepted. So I phoned him, and he said he was out doing other work, but he would get over there as quick as possible. I said, no, that's not the booking. You needed to be picked up by 11:30. He said, right, I'll head over there right away. And at 1:46, he said that he was on his way to pick up. And he got there just after 2, closer to 2:30. He phoned me asking then if he could pick up on Monday because he wasn't sure about storing it over the weekend, even though we'd discussed it already. So this job was Paisley, Glasgow to Motherwell Monday, and it was in total 31.3 miles. This guy was charging me £200, which to me seemed a lot. And I included in that he was going to have it over the weekend. He had to pick up a little bit earlier, so his Friday was going to be a short day. But that's why it was so expensive. But it turned out he was going to be 3 hours late to the first collection, which to me can't happen. Absolutely ridiculous. And then obviously that leads him on to being late to the second collection, which he loaded at 5 p.m, which is massively lucky that my customer was still there because normally they close at 4, but they were expecting someone to pick up. They weren't happy about what time he arrived, but he arrived eventually and got loaded. And that was Friday. So Friday, kaput, over with. He can do what he wants, go home, spend the weekend doing whatever he wants, as long as he delivers on Monday. So this job, I actually had 2 drivers doing. Jono, tall man, small man, and this guy. Jono loaded from me on the Friday, and he was down there 8 o'clock Monday, well, up there in Motherwell, 8 o'clock Monday morning. I was in constant contact with Jono, just seeing what was going on the site. There was one rigger there in a 4x4. We weren't sure if the site was going ahead because of the bad weather. The weather was terrible on Monday, as we know. But the driver who loaded on Friday hadn't arrived. And I still happened to be on the phone to John when he did arrive at 9:27. So an hour and a half late. So at this point, he owes me 4.5 hours. That's how I see it, because he's 4.5 hours late between the collection and the delivery. I don't like people being late. I would rather him have been on site at 8 o'clock and I would have paid him full waiting time until whenever he was delivered. But not when you're late, not when you're collected late. So within 30 seconds, I was still on the phone to John. This guy texted me. So he texted me saying he wanted £50 an hour after the first half an hour waiting time. I thought, no, you're not asking me for waiting time instantly after you've been late for me. So I ignored it. And about 2 minutes later, he phoned me. And when he phoned, let's just say he wasn't the nicest person to speak to, and it got me riled up quite a lot. The conversation ended up being he was in total 4.5 hours late. He was expecting me to pay waiting time. I was not going to be paying him waiting time. And he then started saying that he was going to go home at 10 a.m. if he wasn't unloaded. Put the phone down on me. Whew. And then he texted me saying, I'm going home. So I had to put my pride to one side. This guy has already been late. He's now threatening to leave with the goods and refuse to deliver them. So I phoned him back and I said, I will pay you £50 for whatever waiting time you're there for, and that is it. Just £50, not £50 an hour, just £50, because you've already been late so much that surely I shouldn't have to pay you for it anyway, but you're demanding to go home, so I'll pay you £50. So that increased the job to £250 for 31.3 miles. Right, so other people start arriving on the site. They're still not sure whether it's going ahead or it's going to get cancelled, which occasionally happens if it's a bad weather site. But if it gets cancelled, it means the drivers get paid to take it back to wherever they brought it from. If it don't get cancelled, they get to drop it. And eventually they got to drop it. So John was there first. He dropped first and got his signature, got his picture, and left. Like a good driver. Absolutely fantastic job as always, Jono. And then the other driver, oh God, he reversed up to where Jono was. This was after a bit of back and forth. Allegedly, he got a bit upset about having to move his van so John could leave. And then he got a bit upset, reversing up the lane a little bit so the riggers could offload him. And he phoned me and he said, "Your other driver's left and I'm here on my own. Where is everyone? I need to get offloaded now." And I said, "Where are you? I'm not there. I don't know what's going on." He said, "I'm sat in my van." I said, "Get out your van, walk around the back, see if there's anyone there." And he did. I heard the door open. He was still on the phone to me. And this is what I heard. "Oi, are you offloading me now? What? Hurry up." And that to me is just really disrespectful. He put the phone down on me straight after that. So that's something I heard. It's not something that's alleged, that's heard. And then he gets offloaded. And I don't hear anything. And I don't get a POD or anything. And about an hour and a half later, I got a text message. And that text message was, "I want £350 for this job. It was dangerous." So that was on Monday. I left it a little while because I was angry. And I replied the next morning saying, "No, we agreed you would get paid £250 for this job, which you yourself told me was a good rate, and that would be it. So please put the POD, the pictures, on the CX and close the job. If you don't do this in the near future," I said by tomorrow evening, so that's later in the week, "I will just close the job. And because there's no POD, no payment." That got a very, very aggressive response. So he sent me, well, I was on the phone and I didn't answer the phone to him, and he sent me a voicemail. And this was the voicemail.
Hey, I need my money. I spent £70 on storage. I spent another £70 on diesel. That is £140. Then I stored this thing for you from Friday, and I spent another 3.5 hours. And you have the audacity to tell me that I was late. You're a fucking animal. You're a fucking scumbag. I need my money, and I will get it. Trust me. I will get that money. If I don't get it, I will track you down. I will definitely track you down. You better off go to the place now and report this to the place. I need my money as soon as possible. This is how you treat your customers. This is how you treat people. You're not going to survive with this. I need that money paid. I need my money. If you want trouble, you get trouble. I need my money.
So there you go. If I want trouble, I've got trouble, and he's going to track me down and he's going to get his money. That's the voicemail I got off him, which I found to be quite a threat, because it sounds like he's going to come after me and do something to get his money, which, yeah, I'm not happy about. I have kids at home, I've got the wife at home. If he turned up when the wife was, if Liam was there, and she'd knock him out anyway. But that's not the thing. There shouldn't be a point where a driver thinks it's okay to send you that sort of message. There shouldn't be a point where anybody thinks it's okay to send you a message like that, to call you an animal, to tell you you're not going to survive, to tell you he's going to track you down and he's going to cause trouble. That shouldn't be coming out of anyone's mouth, let alone a courier driver doing a job. So I very, very hope he never works for anybody, any of you, because that man, he may be going through something. It may be something going on in his life that's making him stressed, making him upset. That shouldn't follow him into his job. That voicemail should have never have been sent. He could have thought it. He could have sat there and reveled in it and like just wanted to do that. But for him to send that and then threaten me saying I shouldn't go to the police, that is bang out of order. And I don't think any other courier would ever do that, because that is ridiculous. But that wasn't the end of it. So I ignored that voicemail and I got a text message. Here's the text message. So yeah, the text message gets worse, because now he's threatening me again. Shut up. He's threatening me again because now he's saying he's willing to go to prison rather than me take advantage of him. I'm not taking advantage of him. At this point, he's trying to take advantage of me. If you read that, if I left it up for long enough, if you read that properly, it says that he spent £120 on diesel in total for a 30-odd mile job. Yeah, he may have gone home, but still doesn't add up. And then he spent £70 on storage. So I think it actually transpires that on Friday he offloaded his van into storage, because I also checked his tracker, and from Friday to delivering on Monday, instead of doing 30 odd miles or 50 odd miles to go home, he did over 200 miles over the weekend. He was all over the show. He may have been visiting people he knows, but he was all over the show. And I'm assuming he's trying to charge me for that fuel he's used all weekend, because £120 is a ridiculous amount of fuel for such a small job, unless he's Luton is running terribly. And I mean terribly. Yeah, and then he's also saying that I should pay him extra because of he's paid £70 storage, but I've already paid him to store it over the weekend in his van. I wanted them goods on the van, not off the van, not touched, nothing moved, so nothing goes missing. I want them goods on the van and then re-delivered Monday. But that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems that he has offloaded them. He's offloaded them and stuff could potentially be missing. And yeah. And this time he tells me to go to the police. I better sort this out or go to the police. So I did exactly what he told me to do. I went to the police. The police took it down as a serious crime, and they're going to be back in touch with me regarding it. And I also sent it to the CX, because he's on this platform. He's bidding on people's work, potentially your work, and he doesn't seem to be a man that can do the work properly at the minute without ridiculous charges, for one, and not being happy with the delivery and just wanting to go home. Allegedly, whilst he was on site there, he said he wanted to go home multiple times, and it was heard by Jono, and he seemed physically upset, allegedly. Like, it's not the industry to be in if that's how you're going to be. Yeah, like I said, maybe he's going through some things, but even going through some things, he shouldn't bring it into his work life. He should just crack on, do it when he's at home, then do whatever you want to do. That leads me on to now. Today, I've received his invoice. So he's finally closed the job. He's put a POD on, which is a signature, but I always ask for pictures. No pictures of the goods, which means they can't be accounted for, and could potentially be goods missing, which is also something that the police know about. And yeah, So he didn't do as I asked anyway, which is a no payment term. And then he sent me an invoice through for £350. So to me, that is a fraudulent invoice. It wasn't agreed. He's trying to overcharge me, and this has been made as a separate complaint to the CX. So there's currently 3 complaints in about this driver: his aggression, threatening, fake invoice, and his entire demeanour whilst he was collecting and delivering, being late, everything. So yeah, hopefully they do sort this guy out quick, because I don't want anybody else to go through what I've just gone through. Right, if you're still listening, thank you. But this leads me on to something completely different. I've got a massive, from what I'm being told, I've got a massive influx of work coming in from a new customer. And it's going to be a very, very busy. It's either going to start in February or March. It's going to be very busy. They're looking for at minimum 3 to 4 vans a day. And at the minute, I am just me. And as you can tell, I am fed up with the CX. I've got the WhatsApp group, but it's all about time and place. So I'm actually looking for dedicated drivers that I can rely on daily. Now, this isn't starting yet, and I'm just putting it out there to see if there's anybody. But there would potentially be daily stuff out of the Manchester area, Stockport, out of the Ashbourne area, potentially out of the Wellingborough area, and potentially out of the Glasgow area. So I need to get together potentially, well, it's looking like Luton, curtains and tails, long wheelbases, and then small vans for the smaller stuff. Small wheelbases. Small vans are probably just a bit too small, unless you've got like an L2 double like Jono's got, then stuff fits. So obviously, if you want to be like dedicated to me, and from February March onwards, whenever it kicks in, let me know. Send me a text or an email. Let me know what area you're in, what size van you're in. Obviously, I'm still going to put stuff on the WhatsApp group, but I'm going to massively try to reduce the amount I put on the CX to the point where by the end of the year, I don't put very much on there, because the quality of driver is not good enough for what I'm getting. I'd rather find you guys that can do the job, will do the job properly, and want to be paid a fair rate and not just the crap on the CX. So yeah, if you're interested, and you're in Stockport, Ashbourne, or Wellingborough, or Glasgow, and you've got a Luton curtain or a Luton tail or extra long wheelbase, let me know as close to them areas as possible, because obviously I don't want you having to, if say you're in Dundee, I don't want you having to drive down to Glasgow, because some of the bookings we get are quite last minute and I need drivers there ASAP. But hopefully everything will be booked the night before or 2 days in advance, and we can build a little team. Like, if we can all work together, gives us all more work. But we just got to make sure that that work comes on, which it should do. And we've got to stay positive, and we've got to stop using crap CX drivers. Thank you all for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye bye.